The Cold War was fought in the most terrifying of fields, the oceanic abyss. There, Soviet submarines not only mastered titanium and nuclear energy, but achieved feats that defied every law of physics. We are talking about inexplicable speeds of 41 knots and sudden disappearances that broke the sonar. NATO scientists were perplexed by these giant ghosts. What secret technologies did the Soviets reveal in the depths? Subscribe so you don't miss this journey into the mystery, leave a like and share the video. The Cold War was not fought only on the frozen steppes or in outer space. It had a much quieter, deeper and more terrifying battlefield. The oceanic abysses. Beneath the surface, the Soviet Union and the United States maintained a constant pulse of technological espionage, where speed, silence and immersion capability were the only rules. The Soviet submarine arsenal, the Red Banner Fleet, stood out for its brutally innovative approach, often ignoring Western conventions to seek radical advantages. These leviathans of steel and titanium forced science and engineering to unthinkable limits, generating a legacy of technical prowess that are naval legends today. However, in the wake of their technological audacity, they left a trail of mysteries that decades later marine scientists, physicists, and oceanographers still cannot unravel. We are not talking about marine myths, but about verified anomalies, speeds that defied hydrodynamics, disappearances that broke the rules of sonar, and, most disturbingly, acoustic phenomena that hinted at an interaction with forces of nature or unknown technologies. The history of Soviet submarines is a narrative of brilliant discoveries juxtaposed with enigmas that scientific rigor itself fails to explain. The first great Soviet enigma that left NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, perplexed was the Alpha class, whose technical name was Project 705 Lyra. In the late 1960s, the Soviet Navy introduced these fast-attack submarines, and what Western engineers discovered about them was, at the time, inconceivable. The Alpha's secret lay in two radical innovations: its construction material and its propulsion system. Instead of steel, the Soviets used a titanium alloy to build the pressure hull. Titanium is not only much stronger and more corrosion-resistant, but, crucially, it is lighter. This allowed the Alpha to reach operational immersion depths, about 700 meters, and collapse depths, more than 1,000 meters, that its Western counterparts could only dream of. Titanium gave it the ability to operate in unreachable abyssal zones, a depth ceiling that became an inexplicable tactical advantage for its rivals. But what truly amazed science was the speed. The Alpha could reach and maintain more than 41 knots, about 76 kilometers per hour, a speed that surpassed that of many surface destroyers of the era. To achieve this, the Alpha used a liquid metal nuclear reactor, which provided unprecedented power density and response. A submarine's speed depends on minimizing water resistance, drag. Western hydrodynamicists could not explain how a submarine with the Alpha's volume and shape could move at that speed without an energy consumption that would make it unviable. The most accepted theory was that the Soviets had mastered some form of supercavitation or an advanced friction reduction system, a technology that, to this day, has only been partially replicated in torpedoes. The Alpha was, literally, a titanium ghost that appeared and disappeared from sonar range with an agility that broke the equations of hydrodynamics. If cutting-edge technology generated enigmas, Soviet submarine accidents left even darker mysteries on the seabed. During the Cold War, the USSR lost at least 4 nuclear submarines, and the exact circumstances of most of these shipwrecks remain without a definitive scientific explanation, fueling theories ranging from structural failure to collisions with unidentified objects. A paradigmatic case is that of the K-129, a diesel-electric submarine with nuclear missiles. Although often discussed in the context of the mysteries of the Red Banner Fleet, it sank in 1968, and the secret of its fate was so important that it spurred the CIA's most audacious espionage mission, Project Azorian, which attempted to recover the wreck from the depths of the Pacific. The United States Navy concluded that the most likely cause was mechanical failure or a fire, but the possibility of a collision with an American submarine has never been officially ruled out by Russian intelligence. What exactly caused the implosion and sudden sinking of the K-129 in international waters? The wreck recovered by the Hughes Glomar Explorer did not provide a conclusive answer that the scientific community could publish. More unsettling are the cases of nuclear-powered submarines. The K-27 and the K-119 sank carrying nuclear reactors, and in the case of the second, atomic warheads. The K-27, in particular, suffered a catastrophic failure in its liquid metal reactor in 1968. Instead of salvaging it, it was deliberately sunk in 1982 in the Kara Sea at only 33 meters deep. The scientific mystery here is geological and environmental. How will these sarcophagi of fissionable material, submerged under decades of pressure, affect marine ecology in the long term? Scientists cannot predict with certainty the stability of these reactors or the exact pattern of radioactive leakage, making these wrecks an environmental enigma that will take centuries to resolve. If the 41-knot speed of the Alpha submarine and the enigma of its titanium hull have already blown your mind, wait until you see the dark secrets revealed by Soviet nuclear accidents on the seabed. The truth gets even more unsettling. Scientists are still searching for explanations for these phantom phenomena. Show us that you want more mysteries of the abyss. Leave your like right now and subscribe so you don't miss the second half of this epic documentary. Perhaps the strangest discoveries associated with Soviet submarine technology come from the field of acoustics. In the Cold War, detection was based on sonar, and the submarine's silence was the ultimate weapon. The Soviets, initially lagging in noise reduction technology, sometimes seemed to break the sonar in ways that science could not explain based only on speed. The Victor and Delta-class submarines, though noisy by design compared to their American counterparts, occasionally exhibited a phenomenon known as sudden disappearance. NATO sonar operators, who had spent days tracking a noisy Soviet submarine, sometimes reported that the target simply vanished, not by going faster but by an abrupt interruption of its signal. Explanations ranged from the captain's ability to use thermoclines, layers of water with different temperatures that deflect sonar waves, to deliberate manipulation of biological noise. However, there were classified reports of anomalous acoustic signatures that never matched marine fauna or any known vehicle. Some Western submarines tracked sound sources in the Pacific that emitted a low, constant patterned frequency but moved at speeds too high to be whales and too slow to be torpedoes, and disappeared with inhuman precision. Marine scientists were called into action to try to identify these creatures or geological phenomena, often ending with unsatisfactory diagnoses of background noise or complex echoes. One of the most extravagant theories, but seriously considered in naval intelligence circles, was that the Soviets had developed a cavity resonance system or vortex generators. This technology allegedly injected bubbles or energy pulses into the submarine's boundary layer, creating a partial cavity that drastically reduced water resistance and simultaneously deflected sonar waves. Although never verified, the existence of the Alpha and its inexplicable speed lent credence to the idea that the USSR was experimenting with forces that transcended conventional hydrodynamics. The most fascinating aspect of the Soviet discoveries that baffle scientists is the unintended interaction of their technology with natural phenomena. For example, the liquid metal reactors of the Alpha and the Papa class, Project 661 Anchor, generated thermal signatures very different from those of pressurized water reactors. Moving at high speed, it is speculated that these submarines created a heated water wake that interacted with existing thermoclines in unpredictable ways. Oceanographic scientists have modeled how these thermal plumes could generate sonic artifacts or blind spots in which a submarine could hide, an effect that was initially a mystery to Western sonar operators. Furthermore, the race for depth led the Soviets to design hulls that were subjected to extreme pressures. This, unintentionally, turned these submarines into improvised seismographs. On several occasions, Soviet captains reported having detected shock waves or pressure pulses of unknown origin at great depths, sounds that did not match known earthquakes or explosions. These reports, filtered from unofficial sources, have led to investigations into artificial submarine seismology, or the possibility that certain deep geological faults generate energetic pulses that current scientific knowledge underestimates. These discoveries were not found by the submarines but were revealed by their own existence and technology. The Alpha, by going so fast, exposed a void in the knowledge of hydrodynamics. The K-27, by failing, left a nuclear question mark over geological time. The strange noises not being explained by Western technology forced oceanography to re-evaluate what was considered acceptable background noise. The Soviet Red Banner fleet was a driving force in naval engineering, an engine of innovation fueled by the desperate arms race of the Cold War. Their submarines, the titanium ghosts, the giants of speed, and the condemned vessels left behind a dual legacy. On the one hand, we have the tangible achievements, the mastery of titanium, liquid metal reactors, and abyssal depths. On the other, we have a set of discoveries that remain unexplained. The speeds that defy water resistance, the sudden disappearances that break the sonar, and the nuclear remains that pose environmental enigmas on a geological scale. Marine science and physics continue to search for models that explain the phantom signatures and the non-linear thermal and acoustic interactions that these monsters of war generated in the abyss. The true terror of the Soviet submarines was not their power, but their ability to reveal that scientific knowledge about the depths of the ocean still has vast and terrifying blind spots. And in those blind spots, history, engineering, and mystery merge in eternal silence. The true threat of the Red Banner fleet was not its weaponry, but its ability to expose the gaps in our scientific knowledge. Nuclear wrecks left us with environmental enigmas on a geological scale, and phantom acoustic signatures, without explanation. The eternal silence of the ocean holds technological secrets that we still cannot decipher. If this chilling naval mystery has fascinated you, subscribe now. Hit like, share this video, and comment which of these discoveries you find most inexplicable.